Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Monday Night with Brick Johnson on Conqueror TV. Yes, you are here, and we have a very special guest tonight. A little bit different than who we thought we were going to be, but hey, you know what? That happens. But he is the hardcore hunger man, Landfill.
What is up?
You know, a little bit of technical stuff sometimes. Good. How about you? How are you doing tonight there, sir?
I'm doing lovely. Catering has been treating me very well.
What did you have back there? Anything good?
Some shrimp and some roasted green beans and a bunch of little Debbies and stuff like that.
Nice. Yeah, I gotta love those little Debbies. I know I like a few of them too. I never go away from a good meal, you know.
Amen to that.
Tonight we have our special guest, Landfill, you know, the hardcore hunger man, the rating defending tag team champions from the VOH. He is representing VOH, very proud with that title over his shoulder. Was a former, you've been a former Catalyst and a former KOP, correct?
I was a former King of Promos champion, former Excalibur champion, former Inferno champion, two-time tag team champion.
There you go. Very impressive. Very impressive resume there. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments over here for me and Landfill. So Landfill, what got you into promos?
Well, back in the day, I was working with the one and only Ricka Wildley.
Yes.
on some stuff, and he's like, "Hey man, you need to check this out." He he showed me a couple videos and stuff like that of some different people promoing and some videos of him promoing, and he was about almost a year into it. When he a couple months to almost a year into it when he showed me about it. He's like, "Man, you got to join. Man, you'll have fun. You'll love this. Come on, you got to join." So I was like, "I'll check it out." He sent me a link, and I watched a little bit. I was like, "Man, this looks like it can be fun. Something I can dig my teeth into." Well, after a little while of watching, I found my good time to jump on in, and that's when Landfill, the Hardcore Hunger Man, was born on the screens.
Now, before that, you did a little bit of backyard wrestling before that, right?
Yes, I did backyard wrestling, and I was trained independently by a local wrestler here by the name of Cody Kruger.
Okay. So, what's the difference between like doing that and doing like promos?
Well, it just depends on what you want to do with your promos. Say like the Hardcore Hungry Man, it's not a whole lot of different. It all depends on what you put into it. A very wise man once told me, if you don't believe in your product, if you don't believe what comes out of your mouth, if you don't believe what you do and what you sell, nobody else is going to believe it. And so that's why whether I was in the ring or the backyards or here on the promo screens, I always gave it 110%. It's all for the entertainment value and for the fun of it.
We have Miss Red Hair says, "You little Debbie, do you Dougie?"
I can do a few dance moves there. I can bust a move.
And then the other one says, "What about Tootsie Roll? Who doesn't love a good Tootsie Roll, right?"
That's right. I was a big fan of the Tootsie Roll back in the day. Back in the day when Landfill was still in the schools, back in grade school, at the dances, I'd always be busting moves on the dance floor. Always had a cheeseburger or a piece of pizza in hand, though. You never catch me out of it.
So where did that come from, the Hardcore Hunger Man? How did you get that name?
Well, okay. Well, it starts with the name. In my experience of what I did for a living, what Landfill did to make a living, I worked in corrections and I worked a few different shifts. Well, I worked over on this one shift, and this shift, they all knew that I love to eat. Anywhere I went, whether we were running to codes or which was fights or anything, I had food in my hands at all times. So I'm running through, breaking up fights and eating. That's what I do. And one of the lieutenants just started, on the radio. He's like, it was a Sunday, so everybody brought food, and we, Sundays, it's a long shift, not a whole lot of activity, not a lot of movement in the prison on Sundays. So the shifts, we'd bring food for us to have a little time together and eat because, it was a family unit. So we spent a lot of time together. So we all ate. He came on the radio and said, "All right, everybody come get some food, all except for that Landfill that is Timmy, And I was like, I like that. So everybody just kept calling me Landfill. So I kind of carried that over to being my nickname and my stage name for wherever I was, whether I was in a backyard or, training or, on the screens for whatever I did, whether it was a talk show, podcast, or promoing, and it just stuck. So, growing up, watching wrestling, I was always a big fan of hardcore wrestling. So, when it came to building who y'all know Landfill to be today, I was like, I got to make something that's believable. I got to make something that people can relate to. Well, what can I do that will stick out that nobody else is doing, but defines who I am, that I can portray on screen? I love to eat, and I love hardcore stuff. I love getting my head bashed in with pots and pans. I've got my nose broke with a frying skillet. I've got tacks in me. I've been thrown through fire and barbed wire and tables. I've thrown myself through stuff, and that kind of clicked as the catchphrase. I'm the hardcore hungry man. I'm hungry to get for hardcoreness. I'm hungry for food. I'm hungry for competition. That's how it all just kind of came. It just snowballed into this big mass effect of how I can take all this and just make it into one entity. I can match it together to where it makes sense, and I can use it as ammunition. I can refer to food and hardcore wrestling and promoing against Joe Bob Blow Daniels, and it all makes sense, and it's something people can relate to. So that's how it all came to be, and the who's hungry part was anytime people would be bringing food, they'd be like, who's hungry? I was, hey, me, I'm hungry, and so anytime, I started this years back with the, who's hungry saying, and I was like, man, this is the greatest part of it all. I can add that into here. So at the end of all my promos, I like to end it with who's hungry.
So how long have you been promoting?
It is actually coming up on 4 years.
4 years. Wow. But as long as I have. I've been about 5 or 6 years, I think. Somewhere around there, man. Yeah, it's been nuts. But yeah, I remember like one of your first few matches. Wasn't it against like that guy Iceberg? And that's where you did the hardcore.
That was one of my earlier matches. That was kind of like not so new Landfill. That's when Landfill was, just taking, from mid, low card to, just coming mid card to main stage. And I think that match really defined me.
Very pivotal, yeah.
That match put me on the map. And I'm going to share this out, and I hope he sees it. To this day, one of my favorite matches to have ever done. Iceberg, I thank you for coming on the screens, and I thank you for doing that match with me. I had a blast. He is an awesome person because he will sit there, because we talked a lot. We talked about promo. We talked about wrestling, his career, just the little things I've done, and just life in general. This dude is a legit badass and awesome when it comes to wrestling. The names that he's been in, the stories he has about all these people he's been in the ring with are just amazing. And I was saying, I'll talk to the guy. If you want him on your show one day, I would love to get him on the show with me and you and him one day.
Yeah.
He is a fantastic person to have on because he says, when I was wrestling, I talked a little bit, but I was never a mouthpiece. I had managers that was great at that. But he said, you're great. These guys around here are great. I love this promoing thing that y'all do. And I'm glad to be part of it. And Iceberg, I'm glad you was. It was a fantastic showing, and I will never forget it.
Yeah, it was super fun. Because I remember you did like barbed wires and I think a chair too, didn't you? Or no, it was the pizza pan.
I did the pans, chairs, wrapped chain around my fist, jumped through a barbed wire flaming table. The thing he did, he held a plate of glass to his forehead, took that pipe and just whacked himself with it, then took that glass and just sliced himself. I geeked out. I did. I ain't gonna lie. I geeked out. I was like, man, this is fantastic. And a buddy of mine heard me talking about this, and I showed him. He's like, your definition of fun and awesome is way different than mine.
Exactly. Yeah, that could definitely be our fun and our definition. Sometimes can be a little out there, especially. Yeah. So, what got you into HSP?
Well, back in the day, I started
jumping forward a little bit.
and that's fine. We can jump all around. I'm good to talk. We'll keep it going. Back in the day, I started a little promo group called Promo Entertainment Network, the Warehouse Warfare. Back before we merged with the Inferno, and I got to talking to this guy named Jeremiah, which is AKA Dr. Quack. and I started doing a little work with his podcast, and he was watching the promo stuff, and we were sharing his stuff back and forth, and he got involved into it, and it carried over into the Inferno. Well, it come to and it whatever happened, it was a good. It happened for the best. He came out, and him and Mr. Mayhem, they created HSP that we know today, and we still talk. We still shoot ideas back and forth together, and I'm just like, running one page and being part of another. I thought I had my plate full, just trying to make sure I attended to my business. But he talked to me and talked to me and talked to me. He's like, man, I don't see this just being it. He expressed it, the gratefulness that he had for me getting him into this, and the fact that he took and made this platform, I saw grow and has some amazing talent on it and has some great production to go along with the Dr. Quack podcast and everything else that y'all have along in here, which is now the Pulse, Conquer TV, all the different side shows that y'all have.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just watching it grow. And he hits me up again. He's like, man, we would love to see y'all here. So we're talking one night. We're shooting some ideas back and forth. And I'm just like, all right, if you need something, hit me up. I'll help you out. I'm a guy that don't mind coming around to different federations or promo groups if they need a hand in a match, helping out with, production or anything like that. So I'll fill in. I'll do whatever you need. I didn't know how long-term or permanent it'd be. I didn't know what matches I'd be in. But they said, all right, just hold tight and we'll work. We're working something. And it come out for my first match, and I had an awesome time going against Bojack Grizz. We had great hypes together, and we did a blowout match. He did a fantastic job, and I came out on top. I won. Well, obviously somebody wanted to see Landfill again because the next show, there we were. It was me and Mr. Wallace. Mr. Wallace was fun to work with too.
To wear the dress, right?
Yes, that was the match for a number one. It was for a number one contendership. And knowing Landfill, I like weird stipulations. So we added the stipulation of loser wears a dress. So I'm waiting for him to put on a dress, and I won that match. It was such a close match, though, that it had to be decided with the coin flip.
Yep.
But that tells me one thing. It was such a close match that it had to be decided with a coin flip. But me being the competitive, driven person that I am, one day, me and Mr. Wallace will go at it again.
Oh, yeah.
To see if we can, break that coin flip.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, just because of the coin flip. But, I mean, you've wore a dress before. You lost a match and wore a dress before.
Yes, it was me and Drag Neo. And loser wears a dress, and I lost. And I wore that dress. I supported it. I wore it through my hypes and to my next match. Well,
did you wasn't there a story behind that too? Like when you were picking it out, you're like, I need a
dress. Yes. I lost the match, so I was like, all right, I gotta go get a dress. And obviously I can't fit my wife's dresses. I'm a bit thicker. So I went to the local thrift store. And I was looking into the shop window, just kind of looking around because they hadn't opened yet. Well, this little old lady comes walking up and she says, "What can I help you with, sir?" I said, "Ma'am, this may sound funny, but I need a dress." She said, "Well, we're not open right now, but let me help you out." She said, "Let me look at you." She said, "Stand up straight and let me look at you." She walked all around me. She said, "I'm a pretty good judging character when it comes to dresses. I'll be right back." Well, she goes into the store and she comes out. She's holding up two dresses. She says, "Do you want more casual or more business fitting?" I said, "Let's go with casual." And she hands me this blue and white flowered dress
Yes.
that became so iconic when it got on screens. And she said, "Sir, can I hear this story?" I said, "What story?" She said, "You must have lost a bet or something." I said, "So I told her about it." And I told her about it, showed her the videos, and she's like, "Man, this is awesome. This made my day." She said, "Thank you." And she was like, "All right, well, let me pay for it." She said, "No, it's yours." So I wore the dress. I supported it. I did my hardcore thing. And I was going against an opponent. It was a couple months after the dress match, So I wore it, for my hypes. I wore it for the next match after, and I hung it up, But I was going against a guy named Mr. Smith. So, and I didn't know what Mr. Smith was going to play. If Dr. Slam was going to come out, or if Mr. Smith was going to be, just his normal, calm, cool, collective self. If he was going to be, more hardcore Mr. Smith. So I was like, I got to pull out all stops. So I started my promo hot and heavy landfill style, like I'm grilling. I tapped this phone with my spatula, and all of a sudden, dude looks like a lady starts playing. I'm back wearing the dress. I'm smearing makeup on, and I won that match as well. So in every match I wore the dress with, I've won.
Nice. Now, who would you say right now is like your dream opponent?
Well, at this moment, my dream opponent is the person that I got to go against come July for the championship, being the number one contender. But I got my eyes on other people, There's people here that I have not seen before. There's people that I hadn't went against. This is what it's all about for me, the conquest of competition, to push myself to the limit and become the best. I can say I'm the best in some places because I've done everything that I can do, but there's these new places that's coming up. There's these places that's uncharted for landfill. So that's what it's about for me. Self-fulfillment, building the legacy that is landfill. That, granted, a lot of people know who landfill is. You say the name landfill and somebody's going to have to laugh like, oh God, because just all the stuff I've done everywhere else. In the VOH, I'm a Grand Slam champion. I've won every championships I can.
This is funny.
I even got a surprise with a match coming up that I'm not going to say anything about. You'll just have to catch it when you see it. It'll be on the Asylum page.
Okay.
And it's just I've built my legacy in some places. So now I'm spreading my wings, flying off to these other places in the quest to become the best.
Yeah.
To push myself to the limit, to go against people I've never went against, and in different stipulations that I've never seen myself going for. And it's all for, like I said, for fun, entertainment, but I have this urge and this hunger for competition. I also have this hunger for championship gold. So that's on the conquest too. Go to these different places, find the competition, go through them, and work my way to the championships.
All right, we're going to take just a quick commercial break, and we will be right back.
FTW Premier Promo League. The Promo Performance Alliance. Wrestling Geeks and Pariahs. The Voice of Honor. And Heart and Soul Promotions presents a showcase for everyone. The Champion Showcase, coming in June 2022.
All right, yes, we are. Our Hardcore Hunger Man, Landfill, not Tin Man.
Come to the screen and punch you.
Now, how would you describe it being like a CEO for like VOH Inferno, which you've done quite well and bound a really good foundation there, but also still being like a promo artist kind of there and also being a promo artist here. Does that get a little difficult, or how does that?
It's all about balancing the schedule. I schedule things at the end of the month for the Inferno. That way, I have most of the month to collect up promos and film promos myself. It's all about scheduling. Make sure you don't book yourself for too much, and fulfilling your purposes. Like, I've never missed a match, never missed a show. Um, it has its it has its struggles from time to time, but it's nothing to be able to reach out to somebody and be like, all right, remind me what's going on, so I can keep my head on straight, and we go from there. There's all these aspects that go into the promoing and what you see on your screens. It has grown tremendously from what it started out, because back in the day, it was nothing to do it, because there was only a few places. You only had a few promo artists, but now we got promo artists from coming out of the woodworks. We've extended out. We've got promo artists coming from across the seas, all over the United States.
We got like that champion showcase coming up too, where you have so many different EFETs coming together. That's going to be
really you got all these other federations and promo groups. I'm watching things on Wrestling Geeks and Pariahs. I'm watching things closely there for a few reasons. I'm currently competing on the very first show of the foundation, which is coming up. I'm competing here in Heart and Soul Promotions. I'm the tag team champion with my tag team partner, Dex Snow, over in the VOH. I run as the CEO of the Inferno, along with Jake Smith as the president. I'm watching all these different corporations and different places, and just being able to mod, collage, mix, and match. Because it's nothing to hop into a locker room and be like, hey, anybody need a match that doesn't have a match here, or can anybody help fill in something? And people jump on this opportunity. It has been phenomenal as a promo artist and as a showrunner. Just the backing that you have and everybody that's willing to put up and help.
Now how do you balance that with like personal life too? Because you're married, correct? And you have a couple kids as well.
I'm married with 3 kids.
3 kids, okay.
I am working a full-time job, and I got, I was working at the restaurant, what Landfill does the best, but it doesn't pay the bills, so I had to get a different job. But I love this job as well. I on this, out of character, so to say, I do electric work and air conditioning work, so electrical and HVAC. So I do that, and I'm also a part-time firefighter. Been a firefighter for 8 years. Being able to juggle all this, thank you, it's a task. But I got a family who understands what I do. This is my lifeblood. This is my hobby. This is something that I do to be able to express my creative juice.
So your wife and kids watch and they support too?
My wife and kids support me. They watch what I do. They love listening to me from the other room, because sometimes while I'm cutting these hypes for these matches, if a blooper comes up and they'll sit there and they'll laugh because I mess up a word, or I belch or fart, or because I'm screaming, and I'll mess something up so bad that they just can't hold it back, Like tonight, being on the show there, my wife is very understanding. She knows what I do here, and for people that does these shows like this, if you need if you need it, you're needed. So she understands that I had to jump on. I had a show last night that BTV and the Powdered Out podcast. We had an interview with UWE's The Gatekeeper. It was a great show. I did that last night, and I have no problem coming on here tonight just because I love to come in. I love to be on screen. That's my thing. Entertainment. It's what I'm about. Being an on-screen presence has been a joy for over 4 years. So I'm glad to be able to come up tonight and do this with you.
So as we kind of wrap this up, what would you say to someone new coming in? Like, what advice would you give them?
Well, I say start out slow. Get to know your product before you just jump in. Because granted, everybody wants to be gung ho. I'm going to be the best. I'm going to take out everyone. But it's learn the product, build who you are first, and then do an open challenge. Get to talk to get involved. Talk with some people. That's the landfill didn't become landfill overnight. Landfill became landfill progressively, and being able to get coached by some of the older promo artists that brought me in, and that led to me being able to bring people in and teach them the ropes. So find what your muse is. Find something that inspires you, something that you believe, something that you can make a believable product out of, and build from there.
And then, do you have anything for the guys and gals here?
Well, Heart and Soul Promotions. This is your resident hardcore hungry man, the innovator of hardcore promos. And I guess I can kind of tie this into some people that I might want to go against, because the A-list Albersons that's out there, anybody else, because like Mr. Wallace was one that I want to go against. Mr. Wallace was another. Heathen is another. All I got to say is y'all watch out. The Hunger Man is hungry. I'm hungry for competition, and I'm watching y'all. So, who's hungry?
All right. Well, thank you for coming on Conqueror TV. Thank you for the questions. Everybody in the comments. That is Landfill. I am Brick Johnson. Y'all have a wonderful day.